Okay, so what's going on, guys? It's Matters here, and we're going to be making a Zombies in Spaceland video, but this is actually a bit more for Infinite Warfare Zombies and the DLC season in general, because there are stuff you see within the main menu of Infinite Warfare Zombies and the actual map of Zombies in Spaceland that leads us to believe that these DLC maps on these posters that people were saying, like, oh, is this going to be like the original map? I remember back when the reveal announcement first came out for Infinite Warfare Zombies, we had all these different teaser posters, and we'll go through those posters in a second, and we were sort of wondering, are these going to be the maps when the map comes out? Or we're going to have remaster maps? So, like, there was a bunch of different leaks. We had so much different stuff regarding these posters, and obviously the poster that we didn't see that finally was revealed in August was the Zombies in Spaceland poster, and I'm going to go into some evidence, obviously within the main menu and within the arcade of Zombies within Spaceland, that these other posters that we originally saw could actually very well be the DLC maps for the next 4 map packs for Infinite Warfare Zombies. So again, if you can leave a like, that'd be greatly appreciated. If we can go for 300 likes for this video, that'd be pretty sick, and let's get started. So I'm going to start for you with the arcade because it's more of the Easter egg thing within the actual map itself, within Zombies in Spaceland. So obviously you guys know the arcade. Within a certain section of the arcade, you have these different posters up on the wall, these movie posters, and obviously they have the coming soon sort of attraction things. It's already hinting at, like, if you guys don't know the storyline for Infinite Warfare Zombies, at least we know loosely that basically Willard Wyler, he's playing these movies to us and we get sucked into the movie, and presumably for the next couple of DLC maps, we're going to be sucked in to all of these different movies that he shows us. So these coming soon attractions are his next movies that he will be showing us for the DLC season of Infinite Warfare. It's already teasing it with those signs, but if you look at these as well, I just want to go into sort of just have an insight of what we're going to see for these maps. If you presume that these are the poster coming attraction soon movie trailer things that, well, not really movie trailer, but movie poster things that Willard Wyler is going to show us at the beginning of each DLC map moving through Infinite Warfare Zombies, then, you know, let's have an idea of what we're going to see. So in no order here, we have no clue what DLC 1, 2, 3, or 4 is. We just have a bunch of different cool stuff here. The first one is Ghost Clown, and it's he'll laugh your head off or something like that. It's a bit blurry here, but you guys can probably see he'll laugh your head off or whatever. So again, I don't know where to take this at this point. You have to presume a couple of things right now. So we'll go through the rest of the movie posters, but one, are we gonna have the same 80s cast throughout the whole game? It seems as if, like, the 80s zombies theme will definitely be a reoccurring theme throughout this whole game. They could very well switch it up, but I think they're sticking with that sort of ideal. I think we're gonna have the same characters throughout the whole game. They're not gonna do any crazy stuff like we sometimes see with Shrek zombies. I just don't think that's going to happen, honestly. But you never know. So again, Ghost Clown. How is the Ghost Clown going to be in this 80s theme? We already saw clowns as sort of these boss zombies within Zombies in Spaceland. Are they going to have now this clown attraction? Like, what's the map going to be? So it's the only struggle, and I'll talk about this when I go over these posters. The only struggle is that when you look at these posters, if you want them to be DLC maps, how is there going to be a clown DLC map? It doesn't really make sense. So maybe they're just highlighting the boss or something. Not so sure there. So again, we'll go into that once we look at the other posters. It's definitely pretty cool, though. Pretty cool clown. Next one here is the Nightmare Summer thing that we talked about. This was one of the original posters from the original teasers back in, like, July and June and stuff for Infinite Warfare Zombies. And this one's like, forget the dark, you should be afraid of the light. It's a pretty weird thing there. Obviously, you usually would, you know, be afraid of the dark, but they're saying, oh, be afraid of the light. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. If you look at this here, it looks like a desert. Honestly, you're in the middle of a desert and you have this sun bearing down you, this zombie coming out of the sand or something. So that's different. That's pretty cool. I remember with Shrek zombies, we thought we were gonna have some Egyptian map for DLC 4 or something. That would have been pretty sick, but maybe we'll have it for Infinite Warfare Zombies. So this poster here, if it's gonna be a DLC map, would be pretty sick. That, you know, Nightmare Summer, you know, zombies in a random desert, the Sahara Desert or Egypt or something like that. That would be pretty sick. Again, I don't know if they're going to continue the 80s thing with that. I don't know how they're going to continue the storyline, but it would be a cool location for that as well. So just looking at it straight up, just from the poster, pretty cool there. Next one here is Captain Kill. He has a layover with a few hours to kill. Bit of a pun there. But Captain Kill, it hints at something. It hints at something. So you may be saying, okay, it's just a skull, but you do see a plane, okay? And obviously he has a layover, like a layover if you're, landing in a certain location with a plane. I think you guys know what layovers are with planes and stuff, and you have to wait for your next flight and all that insane stuff in an airport. So maybe this map, this, Infinite Warfare Zombies DLC map is literally like on a plane, and then the plane moves and you actually land, and part of the map is in the airport. Maybe it's an airport map. That would be pretty sick as well. So that sort of idea would be a really, really cool concept. And then maybe the main sort of evil villain or the main guy would be this Captain Kill guy with the skull, and I don't know what he's gonna look like. Maybe some Grim Reaper looking. It has sort of a Grim Reaper feel, especially this poster. So again, could be something like that, an airport plane styled map that would be a really, really sick map. Obviously the Egyptian, desert map, the airport style map, those would be pretty cool ideas. You haven't really seen any of those before within Zombies, so would be pretty sick to see that. And obviously the first one, the Ghost Clown, don't really know how that would be played out, honestly. Maybe it's some sort of, I just can't think of a thing for that. If you guys can think about that, let me know. That's the only thing it's sort of up in the air right now, what setting that would be, what DLC map that would be. But the last one here, again, pretty interesting location, and I feel like this one especially fits if they're doing the 80s theme throughout the whole year. You have Murder High. School's out forever. So I think especially with this 80s theme and these characters, this could very well be DLC 1. If you're using these characters, these are the typical, stereotypical, just 80s teenagers basically at this point, and them being in Murder High would make exact sense for this game. So again, if these are DLC maps, I would very well expect to see this as a DLC 1 map. Again, a school map, I guess it could be pretty cool. I don't know, I feel like they could do a lot of different stuff with that. The theme, anything they can add with it. Infinite Warfare Zombies, they have a bunch of ideas. They have a plan of what they're going to do with this 80s theme. So having it Murder High and having all this random stuff, I don't know. I just have a feeling it could be a pretty sick map. Just with their artistic ability and just what they're doing with this game, could very well happen. So again, we talked about the settings for these maps. Obviously we have pretty cool settings. If these are going to be the DLC maps, pretty interesting settings, except the Ghost Clown. We don't know what the Ghost Clown really is, but other than that, the settings are pretty solid, And I just want to say as well, the reason why these could be DLC maps as well, we've seen the DLC maps predicted before. If you think about Black Ops 3 Zombies, we knew not really the map names itself, but like we knew the locations of all these maps. We had that hidden cipher poster thing, not really a poster, I'm saying poster too much, but with this like sort of map, I forgot what it was, the like Richthofen's map, whatever, and it had the different locations of Stalingrad, of whatever it was, Pompeii, where Tsunoshima was, and you had just everything, all the DLC maps on there, except Revelations, obviously. Revelations was the only one we just didn't really know about. It was the Giant, Der Eisendrock, the Tsunoshima, and Stalingrad. So yeah, those were the maps on there, and we knew the locations, we didn't know the names, we knew the locations, so these posters could be the same sort of style and idea of what they were doing with Black Ops 3 Zombies, where we know what these maps are going to be like, but maybe we don't know the exact names. Maybe Nightmare Summer and Ghost Clown, those aren't going to be the names for the new DLC maps. Maybe it's just hinting at what the DLC maps are going to be about. Maybe it's just hinting at the setting, so it's hinting at a DLC map being in a high school or in a desert or stuff like that. So that can be a very good possibility there. I'm just saying, Black Ops 3 Zombies, they did something similar to this, so it wouldn't be surprising to see something like this within Infinite Warfare Zombies. So now you have to look at the main menu as well, and I've been looking at this a while because I have my PS4 and I'm just looking at this as I'm recording the video. If you look at the main menu for Black Ops 3 Infinite Warfare Zombies, you can see that you have Willard Wire presents Zombies in Spaceland, whatever. But if you go and look at the posters below, you have all different posters, and those are the posters that we just looked at and we just talked about from the arcade that would presumably be the DLC maps. So if you look and it goes through, you click Public Match, it zooms in on the only map there, Zombies in Spaceland, and it zooms in on the poster on the wall that we just saw before. So at the beginning of this movie theater, like the showing, the coming attractions, whatever. So it would make perfect sense if you move through the map list. Obviously, as we get more DLC maps, you know, the list will grow. So if you go from Zombies in Spaceland to the next DLC 1 map, it'll move to the poster that we see in the beginning. I'll show you the beginning again, the posters that we see right there. Like you see here, Zombies in, you have Nightmare Summer and then Ghost Clown on those two sides, and then the other two on the side that you can't really see here just because of the angle of the main menu. But it makes perfect sense. All of the DLC maps, everything that you would need is right in this main menu. You already are going to the main menu for Zombies in Spaceland. There's 2 Zombies in Spaceland posters in the front, and then if you go the DLC maps and you go to those, once those are released, you just move to the side and they're all right in the front. It really wouldn't make sense to have those posters there, and then when the DLC maps come out, the posters are in completely different locations. You know, it just doesn't make sense for them to have the posters here and have the actual DLC maps in completely different locations. Like, where do you think you're gonna go when the DLC maps come out? So if you go right now, again, you click public match and you zoom in on the Zombies in Spaceland poster. So when you click a DLC map when it comes out in January or February, where are you gonna zoom in onto? It would presumably be one of those posters right in the main menu, right under the movie theater that you see within the main menu of this Zombies game mode. I feel like, honestly, not saying this is confirmed, I'm not saying that it's 100% this, but it seems almost obvious that these are going to be the DLC maps, or at least they're going to hint at the DLC maps, or just something along the lines of that. So again, I don't know, it very well could not be. I'm not saying for sure, obviously, these are the maps, but it seems as if it's almost a given. Just looking at this, just thinking about it, looking at the arcade, especially looking at the main menu now, it seems as if that this would be the most logical way to do it. I don't know. I honestly think it's gonna be like this, but again, they could do something different. Maybe they're trolling us. Maybe they think we're gonna look too far into this, and they're saying like, oh, okay, they're gonna look too far into this. Let's just, you know, ploy them and just give them some sort of random stuff to make them think that these are the DLC maps. But we're actually gonna change, you know, things up when the DLC maps actually come out. Maybe for each DLC map they have their own movie theater. I don't know. You know, like we'll see what they do. But as of now, I do think there's a good chance that these are the DLC maps, just based on the whole main menu thing and everything that I just talked about. So, I don't know, let me know if you guys agree and disagree with me in the comment section below. Hope you guys did enjoy, and yeah, that's really it. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.